Hello and welcome back to Coding with T. In today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to fetch data and display data of banners inside our e-commerce admin panel. So first of all, let's quickly have a look what we are going to achieve. We are inside our e-commerce admin panel dashboard, and if we go to the banners, you can see a loader. And after the loader, we have only two banners. So we have image of the banner where this banner will take us to or redirect screen. Then if that banner is active or not, and then definitely we have these operations. We can do all the operations that we learned to create in the previous tutorials. We can select them, we can unselect them. But for the banners, because there is nothing, no name, nothing for the search, so that's why I removed the search from here. But we also have sorting, and we can create the banner, edit the banner, and also delete the banner. So this is what we want to create in today's tutorial. We're going to follow the same exact strategies as we learned to create the categories, which is the previous starting videos of our this last section. So make sure to watch the previous videos if you're new. Okay, we are getting Flutter e-commerce admin panel, and as you can see, we have already covered all these sections previously with all its logic and examples. We learn each and every topic that we are going to talk about in these tutorials. We learn how to design, we learn how to create tables, differences, responsive screens, navigations, and bunch of other things. So make sure to watch previous videos. I'll drop the link of this playlist and also e-commerce app playlist in the description, and also you can download the complete code from the link in the description. And for today's tutorial, let's get started with the banners. Okay, we are inside our project, and before directly start coding, if you remember that we learned that when user is going to press any event or the design needs to call the controller is going to add some validations, then going to call the repository to fetch data from cloud services, SQL, Firebase, whatever database you are using, or any API. So repository is going to call that specific service to create, read, update, and delete any information from the database, and result will be returned back to the controller. And if we need to map the data on a model, we can do that from repository, and then we send that map data from the model to the controller, and controller will display that, send data to the design, and that will be displayed to the user. So we're going to follow the same strategies. We have covered each and everything of how you can search, how you can sort, single multiple select, pagination, each and everything. So if you want to go through those basic steps, you can watch the previous videos. And just to save the time, we're going to follow the same strategy. So first of all, let's go to the lib folder, and in the data, go to repositories, and we have banners over here. So first of all, we need to create the repository, which is the banners repository. And before that, if you go to the features, shop, and model, in here we have banner model does not contain a lot of things. It only has the id of the document, then image url, which is the banner image, if that banner is active or not, and then a string which is going to contain the target screen, or it will contain a route which we need to call using get.toNamed, and which route you want to redirect, let's say in order screen, in checkout screen, in favorites, in settings, whatever you want to open. So there are two ways to achieve with the banners. This one is very simple, very basic, so that's why I'm not going to go for the detailed and the one we mostly use. I'll also create that in the upcoming videos, so make sure to stay tuned. Okay, for now, once you have set up, we have a JSON, we have constructor in which we are going to receive all these required attributes. Then we have the from snapshot, which is going to receive the document snapshot from Firebase. We are going to map that on top of this banner model, and that banner model will return the banner to repository. So if we go to the banner repository, I have, again, just to save the time, I have created four functions. First of all, you need to create instance of Firebase Firestore. Make sure add it in the pub spec. And once you have that instance, you can use that instance inside your functions. We have get all banners, create banner, update banner, and also delete banner. As in the previous tutorial for the brands, they have relation with the categories. So for handling relation, it was a bit complex, but this one is very straightforward. It has only one collection of banners. We are going to call the get. It will receive all the document snapshots or the documents, and on each document we're going to use the map property and map those JSONs into the banner model and return that list of banner model back to from where it is called. And once we have all these functions created, repository is ready, model is ready, and now we can go to the controller. Inside we have the banner controller, and I have three controllers: banner controller, create banner controller, and edit banner controller. So let's open the banner controller. And again, if you're new, you can watch the base controller, which has all these variables. What is abstract class? Because this one is abstract class. What is inheritance? We covered each and every concept as well. And you can get the link of this video from the description below. So in general, we have the base class or the abstract class, means this is the parent class, and whatever it has can be used and accessed by the child classes. And the functions like these are the abstract methods which will be implemented by the base classes. So if you go to the banner controller, we only have the banner repository so that we can call our cloud functions. Delete item is going to receive the banner, and once we have that banner, we are going to pass that to the delete banner, and item.id will be passed. To fetch all the items, we are going to call the banner repository dot get all banners, and the banners will again go back to the base data, and it will store to all items and filtered items, and also same number of selected rows will be created. But this function over here, method for formatting a route, is important because we have to convert this route in order to display something solid. Because in the route, or simply to create a route, what you need to do, you need to go to the routes, and in here we have a new .dart file which is app screens, and in this I have created the app screens of exactly same as we have inside our e-commerce app, because this is going to be triggered inside e-commerce app. So make sure that you are going to point to all these classes which are inside e-commerce app, so you have to copy them over here. And now in the banner controller, when we're going to receive the route, because they are strings, so we're going to receive the route like something like checkout, and in the table we are not going to display those things like this one, but rather we are going to remove this forward slash first and try to capitalize the first word and going to display that to the users. And if we receive the route, if it is not empty, if it's empty, return from here. If it is not empty, remove the first leading slash using route dot substring at first character. Formatted means we have the new data. Now capitalize this word. So formatted at character 0 dot to uppercase. It is going to make the first character as uppercase, and then formatted dot substring 1, whatever is next to it, simply add with the first character, and we have the updated formatted date without a slash, and first character is updated, and then contain search query is not going to do anything. So this controller is ready. We can go to the screens. Now inside the screen banners, go to all banners, and we can go to first of all in the banner desktop. The first thing, you need to create the instance of the banner controller, because for that we have to use a loader. You can use loader only on top of the table, or you can also use the loader on top of the complete white background including header with the search and create new button. And we have a loader controller dot is loading dot value. If it is true, we are going to return the loader animation. Otherwise, we are going to return the actual table. And we have the obx at the top. If you see the is loading, it is also again inside the abstract class, because again the banner controller is the child of this abstract class. It can access all these variables. Same we have in the mobile and tablet. Now, if we go to the table data, in here we have again an instance of the banner controller class. And once we have that instance, in order to update the table whenever there is change inside the filtered items and also in the selected rows, we just created these two text. Because they are not returning from this obx, it means it will not be printed out to the user, and they have only one purpose, just to update this obx. Because whenever they are going to change, we want to update this complete table, and that update will only be triggered by the obx whenever there is change inside observable variables, right? So then we have sort ascending and sort column index. After that, let's go to the rows. Again, you need to access all the variables and functions. For that, you have to call your banner controller. Once we have the banner, to extract a single banner from the list, we are going to use filtered items again. We have an index, and based on index, we are going to extract one banner at a time. So we have that banner. Now inside data row 2, we have selected. If the selected rows at current index is true, this row will be selected, otherwise not. And on tap means whenever the row is going to be tapped, we are going to take this row get.to name to the edit banner screen, right? So this on tap is optional. If you want to implement this, you can do that, because we also have the on edit press, which is taking us to the same edit screen. So this is up to you. You can also, if you have a screen with only a view, not editing, then you can also go to the view screen from here, or you can display any pop-up. In the edit screen, remember we are passing the banners which we want to display as edited, then selected. On selected change means that whenever there is the row selection occurred, this function is going to be triggered and it is going to return true or false that this row is selected or not. And if it is selected, whatever, if it is true or false, we are going to store that value inside selected rows of current index. Then for the first cell, we are going to display image URL of that specific banner, which will be the cloud image. And then we have controller dot format route. This is the function that we created to format the route to remove this slash and also convert the first character to capital. And we're going to pass the banner target screen. Then we have the active cell. If the banner is active, we're going to display this icon, else this one. And at the end, we have action buttons because it does not contain a lot of things. So we have on edit press and on delete press. On delete is simply going to call controller dot confirm and delete function of the abstract class, is going to display a pop-up with the OK and cancel. And once OK is pressed, it is going to call this on delete. And down below we have over here, which is a delete item, which is abstract item, or sorry, abstract method. And this method will be implemented by the subclass. So functionality or whatever is inside will be added inside the banner controller. Is row approximate, false. Row count is filtered items dot length. Then selected row count is selected rows where selected is true. So we have to get the length of those selected values. Okay, once the table is created, we have set up everything. Before running the application, let me also demonstrate you, because we see the complete controller, we go through the complete repository and a model. Okay, so now first let's run the application to see if the data is loading or not. Okay, our application is running. Now let's go to the banners. We have already completed the media, dashboard. Dashboard backend will be created at the end. Then we have categories, brands, and now banners. So click on it. After loader, we have the images. They are not visible. Let's see why. And also we do not have the redirect screens. Active is false. I think we are not able to see the actual live data. Okay, so here you can see we have the banners, but we cannot see the images, redirect screen, and also active is hidden means it is not active. So I think we received the total count, but we did not able to read the actual data. So in here, I have found the issue, which is very interesting and very informative. If we open the Firebase, which we have connected with our e-commerce app, and in here we have dummy banners already created, but in our case we have to create the banners. So in here you can see the banners which are already created are starting with the capital word active with the A capital, I capital of image, T capital of the target screen. So if we see our model, we are reading and storing all the things as small letters at the start. This means that it is unable to find these keys, because based on these keys it is going to look for that data. So now it's changed. Now let's try to rerun our code, and this time we can see we are able to see the images, also redirect screen, and which is active and which is not. This means all the data is loaded perfectly fine. We have a scroll bar as well, and we can see all the 10 records. Now once we have that record, we did not add anything inside the add button, so it is disabled now. Let's change this one. And also when we're going to click on edit and delete, we want to perform the rest of the operations. So let's work on those operations. So let's go to banner screens, and inside our desktop banner, we have the table header, and inside this table header, okay, so inside the T table header, we have to add the button text as create banner and on press with this one, and call the create banner from the T routes. Use the same inside mobile and tablet as well. Now let's save it. Okay, now you can see create banner is now enabled. So let's try to click on it, and you can see we redirected to the create banner. Now inside we have the banner image. When we're going to click on this select image, we want to trigger the media. And inside, let's try to see all the banners available. And when I'm going to select any of these banners, they should be visible right over here. Then we have this active icon to select or unselect the banner. Then we have the drop down to display all the classes that we can redirect our screen to, or when this banner will be clicked, we will be redirected to this screen. Now in order to achieve it, first of all, let's go to create banner controller, and in here we're going to create these variables image URL to contain the banner image. Then if loading is true or false, is active, the banner is active or not. And then for the target screen, we are again going to call the app screens dot all app screens item at 0 index. So if you see the app screens inside, I have a variable which is all app screen items with a list of all items. So from that list, we are going to simply call the 0, which is home screen. So that will be the default target screen. Then we have the form key. So pick image is very same in the media controller. If you don't know how we created the media controller and how we are displaying the media bottom sheet, if you go to this select images from media function in the media controller, we have this function created which calls or triggers the bottom sheet, and using that bottom sheet we will be able to draw our design. And once we have that single image, we will get the URL of that selected image and assign to this image URL. And once the create banner is triggered, the function will first start the loader, check internet, and then check the form validation. After that, we will simply map these three variables on top of the banner model, and we do not have any ID because there is no document yet created. Once the document is created, we will try to fill this with the new ID. So let's call await banner repository dot instance and call the create banner method and send your banner model. This banner model will automatically be converted to JSON inside this function and will pass to our Firestore database. Once stored, it will return the document ID. If you see this banner, it is going to store this data using banner.toJSON function of our model, which is this one. Once that data is stored, it will get the result and will return the document ID like this. Now, once we have that ID, we will store that ID inside the new record. And now this ID contains the new document ID. And once we have that new record with ID and with all the information, we can easily update our local list from the tables without fetching all the data again from the Firestore. We just have to call banner controller.instance dot add items to list. So this is a function which is going to update all items, filtered items, and selected rows. Then stop the loading, display success message and exception code. Once create is completed, the same way we have the edit banner. It is very similar. All the variables are same. We have pick image, we have update banner, but we have the init data, which is going to initialize these variables with the new data. Whenever we are going to receive, let's say user is going to edit a row which is at index 2, means the third row of the table, and we have to pass that specific banner of that row over here, and we have to assign the data to all these variables, all these three variables, so we can display the selected or the fetch data right in front of user. So pick image is same. Once the update banner is going to be triggered, we will receive the banner, and this time the banner contains the ID as well. We will again start loader, check internet, form validation, and if data is updated, means if there is any change between this one and what we receive over here. So we will check banner.image URL not equal to image URL which already provided, means if there is any change between these three widgets, we are going to trigger the update method, banner image URL with the new data, target screen with the new data, and is active with the new data over here. Once this banner is updated, we are going to simply call repository.update banner and we will pass that banner. And once that banner is updated inside the repository, we do not need any ID because we already have this banner ID. And when the banner controller dot instance dot update item from list is going to be called, it is again going to update. We'll get the current item index, also the filtered item index, and it is going to update them as needed. With the new data, stop the loading again and show success message and handle exception. Now, once the controller is created, you can go to the screens in the create widget, go to the create banner. First create the instance of create banner controller, then create a form with the key. Then we have the image over here, and we have the image button, which is a text button. To display the image, simply we're using image URL. But to pick the image, we're going to call from this text button, which is select image, the pick image method. It is going to trigger the bottom sheet and we will be able to select image from there. Then to make banner active or inactive, we have the checkbox. Again, it is OBX. The rounded image is also in the OBX. And then we have the drop down button. So to create a drop down button which will be dynamic, you have to first assign the value whatever is inside the target screen because this is variable. Then whenever there is change, we have to update this target screen. So to update, we will receive a new value and controller dot target screen dot value will be assigned with the new value. And to display all the items, we are going to call app screens dot all app screen items, mean the list of all screens. And using map property, we are going to return drop down menu item. If I add a comma, control alt L, now you can see we are returning drop down menu item. and value will be the value which is string itself, and also that string will be displayed over here. Okay, then at the end we have the create button, and when the create button is going to be triggered, we are going to use the controller dot create banner, and that item will be created. Now let's talk about the edit banner. The form will remain same, everything is same, just one thing is going to be changed, which is the on init method, and we have the banner. Once we receive the banner, whatever banner is selected, we are going to call edit banner controller, and we're going to call this init method and pass the banner that we receive, which is going to update all these variables, and based on those variables we will be able to display selected data, right? And down below, when the update button is going to be triggered, we are going to call controller dot update banner, and we will pass the selected banner. Now the question is from where this banner is coming. If you remember the design, desktop, mobile, and tablet are calling this banner, and they're passing the banner. And also, these three screens are receiving the banner from the main screen, which is this one. And to get the banner, first of all, let's go to the table of this banners table, go to the source, and over here, when the on edit press is going to be pressed, we're going to call get.toNamed, call the edit banner screen, and in the arguments we are passing the banner. So if we are passing the banner in the arguments, we will be able to receive that banner inside our edit banner screen using get.arguments, right? So we have that banner over here. Then we can pass the banner to the form, and we'll do rest of the tasks. Now let's try to run the code. Our application is running, and now you can see we have the create banner. Click on this one. Now it's time to select the image. Okay, so the banners are loaded, and let's click on any of the banner, click on add, and you can see the banner is now in front of us. We can toggle this banner active or not active, and then we have drop down for the routes. Let's say when this banner will be clicked, we want to redirect user to subcategories. Click on create, and you can see new record has been added. Let's go back and scroll to the bottom. Let's click on next page, and yes, you can see we have that new banner over here. And this time let's try to edit this one, and let's not make it active, change it from subcategories to settings, and click on update again, and the record has been updated. Let's go back. It is settings and the banner is not active. So this is how we work with the create banner and update banner. The last thing is to delete the banners, which is very simple again. To delete the banner, go to the controller, and in the banner, go to banner controller. In order to delete the banner, you can see we have this delete item function, which is implemented by the child class, which is the banner controller class. Banner repository dot delete banner. We're going to pass the banner ID, and inside the repository it is going to receive the banner ID and simply delete it from the Firestore. And now if we go to the design, screen banners table, and go to the rows, in here when this on delete item is going to be pressed, we want to call controller dot confirm and delete item. So this is a function inside the parent base class, or you can call it abstract class, which is going to display the default dialog or a pop-up with the OK and cancel button. Once user is going to press the OK, it will call the delete on confirm, and in that delete we have the delete item, which is implemented by the child class. So let's see. Let's try to delete this one. Click on it. You can see a pop-up. We have OK and cancel button. When canceling, it is simply not going to do anything, and close the pop-up. Let's click on delete. Click on OK. We can see a loader. Let's wait for the item to be deleted. Yes, it's gone, and item deleted. So we do not have anything on the next page. So that's why nothing found. Let's go back. And in here you can see all the items we have. So this is how we created banners, create, read, update, and delete. I hope you learned something new. And if you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments. Once again, thank you for watching. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified for all the upcoming videos. Once again, thank you for watching and take care.